higher dimensional and/or spirit world-based organization. I say and/or because when we started out, we were only spirit world-based, meaning that we inhabited planes corresponding to and higher than the astral plane, which some people know about. But since then, we have developed a dimensional presence as well. We have developed quite a firm presence in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimensions, including our very own space program. But that still doesn't get to answering who and what we are. We're an organization of warriors. Essentially, what we are light warriors who solve problems. If you've got a big problem, somebody calls the Silver Legion, we come in and we do our best to solve it. So in this case, what we're doing is we're helping support the liberation efforts for Earth and doing what we can within the confines of preserving human sovereignty on this planet to help fix the situation that has been designed on this planet and is currently giving a lot of us aches, pains, and headaches of all sorts. Well, technically, anything that supports life is a biosphere. When we use the term biosphere, we use it in a couple of different ways. One is as any kind of body that supports life, also known as ecosystems or what have you. The Earth is a life-supporting biosphere. It is an artificially created planet, but it is not a biosphere ship. When you're using the term biosphere, you're probably using it to mean the same thing that Tolek of the Andromeda Council says, and those biospheres are not planets. They are actually very large, self-contained, life-supporting ships. Biosphere ships, the way they're designed, is as long as it has its inner power crystal intact, you could leave those things in the middle of the void between galaxies, or even the void between galactic clusters where there is no incoming external light or anything else, and that thing would tick along for infinity. They don't decay. They're self-sustaining at an infinite level. If you compare that instead to, say, a ship, which tends to be a lot smaller, a ship can only remain running for so long. Now, granted, the ships that we use can usually remain running for anywhere upwards of 5,000 years or more, but sooner or later they'll need to come in for a refit. And, well, tech marches on, upgrades happen. It is artificial. This Earth was created. It was created by planet engineers. It is a planet, meaning it has all the processes and functions of a planet, but it is still artificially created. A natural planet forms from accretion. If you're at all interested in stellar mechanics and interstellar mechanics, accretion happens when you have the matter that surrounds newborn stars is basically rolled up like a big snowball and eventually fuses together because of the mass involved and creates a planet. This is an actual thing that happens, but you can do this artificially, and that's what was done in Earth's case. It was actually created several hundred light years away, well over 7 billion years ago, and towed here using a ship. That's one big tugboat.
This is the traditional picture that we see of Earth. We got an awesome home, folks. It's one of the nicest ones around. But there are some things about our planet that have been withheld from us. For example, our Earth is, in fact, hollow. It is hollow. The next slide, I'm going to show you a NASA photograph that proves that there's an opening at the North Pole. Okay? You can find this photograph in a book called Our Violent Universe by Nigel Calder. It was first released in England, and I don't know how this one slipped through the cracks, but it did. We are told that the gravity of our planet has to do with the rotation. According to the Andromedans and their science, the radiation of the sun is what causes gravity on planets. And any body, planetary body that is approximately 29.3 miles or larger is capable of sustaining gravity because of the radiations of the sun. Now, I realize that flies right in the face of what we've been taught. Well, again, I'm just here sharing with you. If you were to go from the surface, from downstairs to the parking lot, go approximately 821 miles, you would reach a huge open cavern that does not literally have a sun in it, but apparently they are electrons, and as they go through the surface of the planet, they break down to their finest point, which is light. And that, at the very center of the planet inside, is the strongest force of gravity, and that is why they collect, and that is what is literally the aurora borealis. It is these electrons, these particles, coming out of the top once they have totally broken down, which is why it's almost in a circle. Almost always in a circle. Right here. This is just north of Greenland. This is exactly where Admiral Byrd said he flew in. Right there. This was taken in 1979. Now you mean to tell me the Gemini, the Mercury astronauts, the Apollo astronauts when they came back, they missed this? I don't think so. I don't think so. If you can get your hands on the book, there's a color photograph. This is a photograph from the book. It is, folks, it's there. Whoops, there it is. It's there. And a lot of talk that maybe they didn't go there because of anomalies in pictures. Many of the pictures were faked because the pictures that the astronauts took, there was stuff all over the place. They couldn't hide it. Yes, they did go. But yes, there's been a manipulation of other things put in there that supposedly looks like our astronauts. We have to use common sense when we look at these things. Did our astronauts really go there? Did our astronauts see things? Absolutely. Mornay has told me that the United States government, just our government, has at least 53 of its own UFOs, flying saucers, that are stationed on the moon, on the far side. And I'm going to show you where he says they are. It's in one of the slides. They did, but they were told to shut up, not say anything. Many astronomers who have been taking a look at the moon, many of the lunar rovers and the cars that they drove have disappeared. They're no longer there. You know, well, they just didn't get up and float away. Okay, the moon has got gravity. Especially on the far side, it's got gravity. Mornay has told me that if you take Copernicus crater and you stood at the bottom, that the gravity is equal to that of Chicago. As if you were standing in Chicago. Because again, it is not the rotation. It is apparently the sunlight. The sun's radiation that creates gravity. At least this is what they say. Now, our moon does not turn on its axis. It rotates around the Earth, but we primarily just see one side, or only 59% of it. By the way, our moon's the only one that does that. Our moon. Our moon is quite the enigma. Apparently, our moon was brought here 11,213 years ago, to be exact, in the month of March. It came here as a base, okay, as a ship carrying ETs. They were coming here to colonize. They did, in fact, colonize. In fact, many of what's left of them are living underground in our planet from 100 miles to 200 miles beneath the surface. Now, I've gotten a lot of crap for talking about this, but I'm just not going to shut up. The beings that brought this satellite here to our planet in the last 25 years are responsible for over 31,000 children disappearing from the surface. And I don't know if you're paying attention, but over 100,000 children a year are vanishing from the face of the earth. And folks, they're being taken out of here. And the governments know. The world governments know. This was taken out of National Geographic. This was in the early 1950s. This was NASA's idea of what moon bases would look like. They, in fact, did do this and create this in February of 1958. So when Kennedy said, we are going to send man to the moon, part of our government, primarily the NSA, was already there. They were already there. Now, folks, you don't hear much about the Russian space program, but let me tell you something. They are a major player, and they are also here. And they don't work for us. Neither does the NSA. They work for international bankers who are the new priesthoods for extraterrestrials. According to the Andromedans, there were primarily 9 huge dome cities on the moon, the front and the back. They housed up to 5 million extraterrestrials at one time. There was water, there was vegetation, there was everything they needed. Okay, and these covered hundreds of miles. This was along the equator on the far side of the moon. This is what's left of a pyramid. There are 4 pyramids on the moon. Now, I can assure you that the pharaohs, just to practice, did not take the Hebrew or the ivory up here, build one, then bring it back and do it right in Egypt. Didn't happen. According to the Andromedans, almost all the planets in our solar system have pyramids on it. Some have more. I've asked why. Some people say they're tombs. The Andromedan perspective is that these are weights. And what they do is you put them in a strategic location, it balances the rotation of the planet. It doesn't keep it from wobbling, which means that if the ETs are there colonizing, there's no major fluctuations in weather and gravity. Gravity anomalies as well as the electromagnetic field, which is around every single planet. It has to be balanced. That's what these are for. That's why Giza is directly dead center of the landmass on planet Earth. Focus on this area right here. I want you to focus on this structure in here. For those of you who are architects, please feel free to, say something about this. This area right here, you can see the curves, the angles. There's another bridge here. I want you to notice these lit up objects inside the bottom of the crater. Here we go. Okay, here's another bridge. Apparently this is inhabited by extraterrestrials from Orion. These are, I'm told, are domes. Does everybody see this? Okay. I'm also told that this is a road that goes into here. There's an elevator that goes up to this area here. And when they land, they take an elevator or something down, and then they can walk, because there's atmosphere on the far side of the moon. Which is why the astronauts took pictures of clouds. It's unbelievable. The snow job that we've been given. It's nothing what we've been told it is.
Are there any such positive birds around that will fight against the negative reptilians?
Oh yeah, there are some avians whose maximum size can be larger than the galaxy. And the particular race I'm thinking of is very, very positive. They're not exactly chasing after dragons, though, unless those are bad dragons. Remember, dragons are like humans. They can choose whether to be good guys or bad guys or just guys.
As TANAATH was mentioning, there is a what we would consider a natural enemy of the, especially the Draco, the Hydras, the other regressive reptilian-based beings that they're considered avianoids, and roughly speaking, at the smallest in their bird form, they're about 2/3 the size of Terra, but they can get much bigger than that. And in their more humanoid form, the average, the smallest they can reduce their form down to is between 18 and 20 feet. But I can't release what the name of their race is or what planet they're from. They're Galactic Federation of Planet members, though. But as far as their race and that kind of information is currently classified, but they're 100% positive.
They're really nice guys.
Yeah, we love them.